Spider-Man just fought the Hulk. He lost. His webs didn't work. His strength didn't work. The chip he spent the whole movie building didn't work. And then he said 3 words and the Hulk stopped. The strongest thing Spider-Man does in this entire movie is not a punch, and I think it's the exact thing that most of you watching this haven't done all semester. Quick context, because this is a very specific kind of sad. So 4 years ago, Peter Parker asked the universe to erase him. Everyone he loved forgot he existed. His best friend, the girl he loved, everyone. He chose that to keep them safe. And this movie picks up 4 years later, with him living completely alone, working the job full-time in a city that has no idea who he is. He's an adult now, no mentor, no aunt, no team, just the work. And then his body starts turning on him. His DNA mutates. He gets new abilities he didn't ask for and can't control. He's exhausted, he's changing, he's overloaded, and there's no one in his life he can tell. Which, if you're a student, might be the most accurate description of your last 2 years anyone has ever put in a Marvel movie. Because here's the setup he's in. Too much on him. A body that's failing on the schedule. A world of people who would help, who are literally still alive, still in the same city. And a private conviction that reaching out is not an option. Do you know what he does instead? He builds an AI to talk to. Yeah, I sat up in my seat too. So let's talk about why. Because just ask for help is the most useless advice on earth, and I actually want to take it apart. First, it's not just you. There's a meta-analysis that pulled 62 studies on college students and mental health, and it found only about 28% of students who needed help actually went and got it. 28! And the number one barrier students gave wasn't cost, and it wasn't stigma. It was a preference to handle it on their own. That's not laziness, that's a whole personality trait we've built and started congratulating each other for. It has a name now: hyper-independence. The point where self-sufficiency stops being a strength and starts being a symptom, where I've got it becomes a reflex you use even when you very obviously do not got it. And there's a version of this that goes all the way to the end of the line. In Japan, there's a word hikikomori, severe social withdrawal. People, mostly young, who stop leaving the room. Not for a bad week, for 6 months, a year, longer. It used to be treated as a Japan thing. It isn't. When researchers screened university students across multiple countries, they found it everywhere. Around 2.7% in the US, 9.5% in Singapore, 20.9% in Nigeria, and a global meta-analysis 2025 put the pooled estimate near 8%. Same shape, different flags. 3 things stacked to make this generation like this. 1, we were sent home. A huge chunk of us learned the mechanics of adulthood, asking a question in a room, raising a hand, going to a stranger's office, during years when there was no room. We didn't get the reps. That's not a character flaw, that's a missing skill. And skills can be learned late. 2, your feed. You see the internship, the acceptance, the finished thing. You never see the 4 people who helped, the email that got ignored, the retake. So the private story you build is, everyone is doing this alone and fine, and I'm the only one drowning. Everyone thinks that, simultaneously, about each other. 3, and this is the one that actually hurts. Somewhere along the way, needing people got recoded as weakness. We started calling it a red flag. We made "I don't need anybody" sound like healing. It isn't healing. It's a chip you're wearing so nobody sees what's actually happening in there. Okay, so what does Peter actually do in the movie? He goes to a professor. I'm being completely serious. The turning point of a Marvel movie is a kid walking into a building, finding the one person on Earth who has survived the exact problem he's having. A man whose own body turned into something he can't control, and saying, "I don't know what's happening to me, can you help?" And Bruce helps. He shows him the inhibitor on his wrist, the thing he built to keep his own monster down. Peter takes that and builds his own. Notice what that is. Peter doesn't get rescued. Nobody solves it for him. He gets a piece of hard-won information from someone further down the same road, and then does the work himself. That's what asking for help actually is. It isn't handing someone your problem. It's borrowing 20 years of someone's scar tissue in a 40-minute conversation. Now, here's what I love about this movie, because it doesn't let him off that easy. The chip fails, his webs don't hold, his strength isn't close to enough. He tries every single thing in the arsenal, and the Hulk ends up holding him by the throat, about to end it. And Spider-Man, losing out of options, pulls back and says it's him, Peter. And the Hulk stops. Bruce Banner didn't recognize him earlier. The spell erased Peter from the world. Bruce had no idea who the kid in his office was, but something underneath all that rage did know that name, and it was enough. Not the tech, not the strength. He won by saying his own name out loud to someone who might not even remember him. So let's make this usable, because I know be vulnerable is not a plan. Here's the actual mechanics of asking and why it feels so bad. It feels bad because you think you're asking someone for a favor. You're not. Every person on this list has a job, a role, or a relationship where helping you is the expected thing. You're not begging, you're using a door that's already open. Rule 1. Be specific. I'm struggling in this class, give someone nothing to grab. I understood everything up to chapter 4, I've lost the thread on the proofs, and I've spent 6 hours on problem 3, gives them somewhere to start. Specific is respectful. Vague is what actually wastes their time. Rule 2. Show your work first. Not to prove you're worthy, to make it fun for them. People love picking up where you got stuck. Nobody loves starting from zero for you. Rule 3. Make it easy to say no. If you don't have time, completely fine. This single sentence removes 90% of the guilt on both sides. It turns a demand into an invitation. Rule 4. Be short. Guilt makes people write 4 paragraphs of apology. The apology is the part that makes it awkward. Cut it. Here are some real-world examples to guide your process. For example, the professor. Hi professor, I'm in your Tuesday section. I'm stuck on the material from week 6. I've gone through the notes in the textbook and I think my gap is specifically the derivation. Could I come to office hours Thursday? Happy to come with questions written down. Cold email, research or internship. 2 sentences of who you are. 1 specific thing about their actual work, a paper, a project, something real, because they can tell instantly if you copy-pasted. 1 sentence on what you're asking for. 1 line making it easy to ignore. Send it. Send 20. The response rate is low for everyone, which means silence is data, not a verdict on you. The friend. Hey, this is going to be awkward for me to say, then it'll be over. I've been having a hard semester and I've been hiding it. I don't need advice, I just didn't want to be the only one who knew. The parent. I'm okay and I don't need you to fix anything. I just want to tell you what's actually been going on. Opening with I'm okay is not a lie. It stops them panicking so they can hear the rest. Okay, there's one more thing this movie gets right, and I need to say it because I've lived this one. Peter is completely consumed. The mission is all there is, and the film doesn't let that be noble. It shows you the bill. His body breaks down, his control goes, his moods start driving instead of his brain. He gets worse at the mission because of what he's doing to himself for the mission. I think everyone who's ever been a high achiever has felt this exact loop, where rest feels like theft, where sleeping feels like losing ground to somebody somewhere who's still awake. But you're the equipment. That's the whole thing. You're not the worker and the tool. You're just the tool, and you're using it without maintenance and calling that discipline. 3 things, and they're boring, but they work. Okay, listen. Sleep is performance input, not a reward. Not a thing you earn after the work. The thing that determines the quality of the work. Put rest in the calendar as an actual block. If it isn't scheduled, it isn't rest. It's just guilt with a screen in front of it. There's a real difference between a rested hour and a guilty hour, and you know exactly which one you've been having. Rate your week once on a Sunday. Sleep, mood, energy, 1 line on what actually happened, because obsession is invisible from inside it. You cannot feel the slope you're on. You can only see it written down in a row next to last week. That weekly check is literally what my Google Sheets does. Links below if you want it. Ignore it if you don't. But do the check somewhere. Notes app is fine. Paper is fine. And the last one. The thing that saves Peter isn't the chip and it isn't the strength. It's people. It's a best friend's hand doing a handshake his brain doesn't remember. It's a man who tried to kill him sitting by his bed. It's an entire city standing outside a hospital for someone whose name they genuinely do not know. That's the whole thesis of the movie, and I'd argue it's the whole thesis of college. You're not supposed to do this alone. Nobody looks like they did. So back to the chip. Remember what it was for. Peter built it to suppress the parts of himself he was scared of, to pass, to look normal, to keep everything sealed. And in the final fight, outnumbered, surrounded, with a crowd watching, he takes it off and says who he is, out loud, to everyone. You've got one too. Yours doesn't glow. Yours is 2 words long and you use it 4 times a day. I'm fine. That's the chip. Every time you say it, you suppress the thing that would let somebody find you. So take it off. Not forever. Once. This week. With a person. That's all I ask. Peter's version of taking it off was 3 words. Yours is 3 words too. They're just different ones. The world forgot Peter Parker, and he still couldn't do it alone. You've got people who do remember you. They're just waiting for you to go first. Go first. Next week, I'm doing the cold email one properly, the exact one that got me a research position, line by line, including the 2 I sent that got completely ignored. Subscribe so you get it. Love you. Go send the message.